Trinidad and Tobago, Caribbean brothers and sisters, and our very important Caribbean diaspora, welcome to the 868. My name is Daren Lee Sing, and as your host, I hope to introduce to you to the minds of entrepreneurs as we talk service providers in Trinidad and Tobago. From the onset, let me emphasize, if you're dreaming of a business, already have one, or even if you punch through the proverbial ceiling and are already exporting, regardless of where you sit, all are welcome. This program was created with one purpose in mind: to help small and medium enterprises grow, compete, and thrive. In fact, that's exactly why WESN was founded: to shine a spotlight on entrepreneurs, innovators, and the businesses that form the backbone of our economy. WESN remains your content capital. Around the world, services have become the dominant driver of the economic growth. Today, services account for approximately 67% of the global GDP, up from just 53% in 1970. Now, global services trade continues to grow faster than many traditional sectors. Following the pandemic, service-based businesses demonstrated remarkable resilience, leading much of the world's economic recovery. This, according to the OECD. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, the story is no different. The latest data from the World Bank reflects the services sector now contributes to nearly 60% of our nation's GDP, making it the largest component of our economy. From professional services and technology to tourism, creative industries, logistics, finance, and business services, the opportunities for growth are immense. What must be emphasized is that each of you, the persons who make up the services sector in Trinidad and Tobago, are not supplying the data necessary to allow Trinidad and Tobago to remain competitive. We have this selfish notion that our data is our competitive advantage, but from a macro perspective, your data helps better position Trinidad and Tobago from a trade perspective, whereby allowing your product and or service to better opportunities to be positioned globally. Each of us must rethink the notion of not taking 10 minutes of our time to answer the polls that bombard our WhatsApps and emails daily. Those polls are the drivers to the answers that we all seek. And so it is our responsibility to look at the polls and take the time to answer those polls. Each of us must rethink the notion, and yet, despite their importance, many of the SMEs still struggle to access markets, capital, expertise, and visibility. That's where the 868 comes in. Many SMEs tend to look at the government, but the government cannot do it alone. We each have our part to play in making this great country better. Each week, we'll bring together business leaders, industry experts, entrepreneurs, and policymakers to share practical insights, showcase success stories, and to provide real solutions that help businesses scale and succeed. Note well, when our SMEs grow, our communities grow. And when our entrepreneurs succeed, Trinidad and Tobago succeeds. Welcome to the 868, where we celebrate enterprise, empower innovation, and build the future of Trinidad and Tobago, one business at a time. We don't talk about business models and rest them there for others to learn and dream about them. The 868 takes us back to university and continues to push continuous learning. My first case study and guest is Adam Lee. He's a marketing officer at the NCC, better known as the National Carnival Commission, and co-founder of a company called Miso Smokey. So he's a government worker by day and a businessman after hours. I chose Adam as the first case study because his is an example of playing it smart, but he'll explain his story. Today we will speak to his roles in both, the mistakes and the lessons learned, and his hopes. And hopefully at the end of this podcast, Adam and I would have learned at least one new thing. I met Adam 2 months ago at a training seminar put on by the Ministry of Tourism for Trinidad and Tobago festivals. Adam, like the other 16 or so entities, will constitute our first season's premiere shows. Adam, welcome to the 868.
Right, thanks, Daren. Thanks so much for that introduction. It was very succinct. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. As you would have indicated, I'm the marketing officer in the National Carnival Commission. And apart from that, I'm also the co-owner of a business called Miso Smokey. It's a barbecue business that I co-own with my brother, Chad. As you would have said, during the day, my day job, I really am part of a team that's responsible for the marketing and promotion of Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival, which, of course, as we know, is our biggest cultural product. And through that experience, I will have taken some of the things that I learned and applied it towards my side job, which would have been, of course, the Miso Smokey.
So who came up with that name?
It's actually a play on words. So my brother and I, we were kind of throwing ideas out about what would sound catchy and get people's attention. And we really wanted to do something that spoke to our heritage as like Chinese people or people of Chinese descent in Trinidad and Tobago. So we just decided to use the word miso, and then we went with that, Miso Smokey.
All right. And so when did you open Miso Smokey?
We've been in operation for just over a year. We really only do the pop-up itself 1 day per month. So this will be our 13th month in operation. And so far it's been a great experience. It's actually been a lot better than we could have ever expected. What I would say is that when we came up with the initial thought, we thought that we would have quite a bit of challenges getting into the market because it's quite a saturated sphere, but we've had a lot of success and a lot of support from family members, friends, and most importantly, our customers.
You strategically picked it as a pop-up.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we both work day jobs, so in terms of time management, it was a lot easier for us to manage it as a type of pop-up style event as opposed to doing it on a day-to-day basis. And it allows us to offer a more specialized product as opposed to doing what you regularly see from most other barbecue places.
You know, everybody's going to ask, and I ask the hard questions. Is this thing profitable?
We wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't profitable. But what I would say is that you have to be very mindful about how you utilize the funds that you get from the business. One of the things that we really stress on is reinvesting back into it. So everything that we make, a very significant portion of it would actually go back into the business itself and ensuring that it could operate without incurring too much cost. And we really want to try and avoid incurring any sort of debt whatsoever. That's key.
All right. So take me through an evening. Is it an evening?
Yeah, well, it would be more than an evening because it is a month-long process, I would say, leading up to each pop-up because there's a whole bunch of things that need to happen before the pop-up itself even takes place. The first part would be the creation of the menu and the creation of the promotional material. So we'll normally do testing where we'd decide what the menu will be for each month, and then we'd also do a video shoot where we could showcase the products and also do a video to help promote it at the same time. From there, we'll start taking orders. All the packages are done via pre-order, and then as we lead up to the dates, we would then put things in place for delivery, the infrastructure, all the ingredients, all the containers, etc. The basic necessities that you need to ensure it runs smoothly.
So who taught you all how to cook?
Well, my brother is actually a chef. He's head chef in Samurai Restaurant.
Let's talk about it.
Sure.
So he's really the brains behind the business.
Yeah, I would say it's a collaborative effort, for sure. He is definitely the more first cook, I would say. But we leverage our different skills. So
Is the older brother or younger brother?
I'm the older brother.
All right.
Yeah, so he used to annoy me quite a bit growing up.
Well, we know what sibling rivalry is growing up in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
We know well how the fights happen using the fruits, doing all the different things that boys will be boys, because it's a boy's house.
Yeah.
So how did he choose to become a chef?
Well, he always had a great love for cooking, I would say. And he went from just strength to strength, I would say. He was trained by one of the best sushi chefs that they had in Trinidad and Tobago a while ago. And he has since become the head chef in Samurai Restaurant, where, I mean, he leads the entire kitchen team. And they are one of the most well-known and well-respected restaurants in Trinidad.
So Miso Smokey is really a passion driven by two brothers.
Correct.
Is there anybody else involved?
Yeah, for sure. We have a very small team. It's really based with quite a few of our family members, and of course, my brothers and I, significant other. So his wife is actually the person who's mostly responsible for all our social media content. And in terms of doing most of the promotions and advertising, etc., she's really the point person for all those things. And my girlfriend, she is really the person who deals with most of our operations and all the logistics and things behind the scenes. She helps make sure that everything runs smoothly.
So Miso Smokey is a family affair.
Of course, yeah.
What mistakes you think you've made along the way?
I mean, they're myriad and varied, but it really depends. It's hard to pin down one specific thing, but what I would say is more important than the mistakes that have been made is what you learn from it. And I think being resilient and being adaptable is more important than trying to focus on the mistakes that have happened. Every problem is an opportunity to grow, and from the little hiccups that we've had, we use that to drive us to improve.
All right, so let's go back to the pop-up scenario.
Yeah.
How do you choose where you're going to pop up?
Well, we have one specific location that we've been using recently, and it's well suited to our purpose. So we've been actually staying there for the last few months. Ideally, though, we would like to get another location, probably in South, just to bring it to a different part of the country, and we're still exploring those options. If I were to choose a venue, though, of course, it would need to meet certain criteria. So it needs to, one, be clean. That's extremely important. It's food we deal with. So hygiene is top priority. Apart from that, it would need to have facilities that will allow us to do the preparation and cleaning and everything efficiently. It would also need to have an indoor and outdoor space that we could use. So we need to have a space for the grill to be outside, preferably an indoor space and refrigeration to keep things cold, and then also have easy access and parking for the patrons who come and pick up.
So when was your last one?
The last one was the last Sunday of last month.
And when is your next one?
The next pop-up is going to be Sunday, 28th June, and it's going to be at number 7, Scotbush Street, Port of Spain.
Why Sunday, the 28th of June?
Well, we tend to only do it on the last Sunday of each month, and I know we got a lot of people asking about why not for Father's Day, why not for Mother's Day. Actually,
I was going to ask.
Yeah. But what we found is that, and if you've been on Instagram or any kind of social media recently, you would see that it's swamped. Everybody's doing something for Father's Day. Everybody has a special or a package or something going on to try and promote for that period. But we didn't really want to get lost in the noise in that kind of sense. So we decided to stick to our consistent date so that our clients, and we have a lot of returning clients, who they know that we do it every last Sunday of each month, so they know to expect us then.
I'm going to ask you to paint for our audiences.
Sure.
What an evening is like at Scotbush Street.
Right.
When you deploy.
Right. Well, it doesn't even begin just on that one particular day. So typically, the preparation will begin from the week before the actual pop-up. So during that time, we need to source all our ingredients, we need to source all our containers, etc., all the packaging, get the orders in order, organize our delivery drivers, and all those things need to be put into place. Then there's a certain amount of preparation that needs to take place in the days leading up to the actual weekend itself. So certain things, it would be a lot more efficient to just get done beforehand. And because we do a lot of smoked products, that takes a very long time. So we would normally start that process from like the day before and keep those things stored until the actual day of the pop-up itself. And we would normally reach on site probably like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning, set up everything, and then begin the cooking process one time.
So when do you start?
Well, in terms of preparation, or actually getting the orders out?
Getting the orders out.
11 a.m. is when we get the first orders out. That would include the delivery orders as well as the first set of pickup orders. And we normally cut off by 1 p.m.
What happens if it rains? I know we're having this kind of erratic weather.
Well, definitely we take that into consideration. So far, funnily enough, you say that every single weekend that we've done it, it has rained cats and dogs. So we ensure that we have a nice shelter in place that we could use to keep everything covered, and we are accustomed to it, so it's not something that hinders us whatsoever. Really, the main challenge for that would be our pickup customers. They may get like 1 or 2 delays coming in to actually collect their stuff, but we can accommodate them. Even if they reach like an hour or 2 late, we're willing to wait on them. If they can't make it down, we could probably organize one of the drivers to take it for them, because we just want to facilitate them and make sure they have a good experience.
Switching hats. What I'm getting out of you is this marketing officer is also a project manager.
Yeah,
And,
somewhat.
And if you are a marketing officer for what is the biggest carnival in the world, how do you prepare wearing that hat?
Well, I am only really one part of a greater whole. And given the scale of Trinidad and Tobago's carnival, I am really just a small cog in the machine. I'll say that as humbly as I could. Because we have a lot of very capable and competent people in the NCC who are all part of the organization. So it's really a collaborative process. We can't work in isolation, and because of the importance of Carnival, it needs to be very well thought out and well prepared. So there are checks and balances throughout the entire process, and everybody is responsible for their own roles, but we operate together to ensure that everything runs as smoothly as possible.
So, do you get your colleagues from NCC to patronize you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Quite a few actually have. They've supported for quite a few months. Last month we had I think like 3 orders from people in the NCC, so that was pretty good. It was nice to see them supporting. I'm very grateful for that.
I'm taking you now back 2 months when we first met.
Right.
And the one thing that struck me in a room with other entrepreneurs, other wishful dreamers, lovers of the festivals, was that you and I were a little more organized than the others. and it's not a discredit to them in any way. Maybe it is our life experiences. But I also saw in you the ability to throw in the chat, Miso Smokey, come get some.
Yeah.
And it's only through us pushing them to understand the ministry can only take you so far.
Correct.
The ministry brought us together, and it's 16 or so strangers. And what those 16 or so strangers get out of the training, because I welcome the training, is really the value of the relationships, the networks, the ability for me to call Daren Lee on the spur of a notice and I welcome him to my premiere show. This show was a catalyst coming out of that conversation because we understood well what our limitations are, what the realities of the environment is, and what we ought to be doing.
Yeah.
So if you are Daren Lee, 1/4, because I hear there are partners in it, 1/4 of Miso Smokey. 2 years ago, you didn't exist. Where are you 5 years from now?
Well, the main goal that we have right now is to actually get a proper brick and mortar restaurant set up. So that will be the 5-year plan. Leading up to that though, as I said, we're trying to incur as little debt as possible. So reinvesting back into the business and acquiring all the equipment that we could possibly need and tying down all the little nitty-gritty things that help us run as efficiently as possible to get to that point. Really, that's the process and the plan.
If you were to, and you are speaking to the world, and you would tell them what the experience has been, you said for the last 13 months?
Yeah.
What would you say? Has it been worth it? Has it been a joyful ride? Has it been an economically painful? You did say it's a profitable one, but you're more reinvesting at this time. But has the exercise bore the fruit that you anticipated at day one?
I would say yes, most definitely. It has certainly exceeded my expectations. going into it, we were very conservative in what our profits could possibly be. Just as I said before, given how saturated the market was. But we really gotten such a good response from everybody who has patronized us, and the interest has been overwhelming. So it really has been way more successful than I think either my brother or I could have ever imagined. And it's just been growing month upon month upon month. So we're trying to maintain that momentum and keep it growing within reason, because we are still a very small team. We're bringing in people as we need them, but we want to keep the core group as tight as possible, because we know that we're who they are, they're reliable, we are confident in their abilities, we trust them, most importantly. So we want to grow, yes, but we also want to keep it at a very manageable level. We don't want to set our hat too high in that sense.
In the conversation, it's clear you're a cup half full kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely.
So in those 13 months, what went, if anything, what went wrong?
Well, we've
Because I asked you before and you hedged around it.
Yeah. Well, we've had some issues.
Let me explain why. Food is such, I could see why food is a major driver, especially now in our current economy, climate, how the people are, their mindsets. But food is such a temperamental thing. One wrong order could make or break you.
Yeah.
And so I'm asking you from a business perspective, what in the 13 months, something might have not gone your way, other than the acts of God and weather and those things. What is one example that you saw coming out of it?
Well, recently we would have had an order that didn't get delivered to the client in the best condition. So of course, I mean, they wouldn't be happy about it. In that instance, though, we did our best to try and accommodate them and offer them maybe a refund if they were interested in a refund, or if they wanted to order again, give them the same value package at no cost and facilitate the entire thing for free. Beyond that, though, we also had issues such as supply issues. So we might have something on the menu set, and we could talk to a supplier, but on the actual day when we want to order, they don't have anything in stock. So those little kind of things, you just have to know how to deal with it and work around it. So we do keep other suppliers in mind. In terms of even if something will happen with the location, we do keep other locations as backups as well.
So my next question comes out of the same conversation in the training. And because you and your brother are partners, you are lifelong tied to the hip.
Yeah.
What happens if it goes wrong? Have you all planned contingencies in that event?
Well, what I would say is that we were both well off together before this business even started. He's been my brother before we ever conceptualized this whole thing. I mean, life, anything could happen. So it's not really that we would never talk to each other again if everything goes wrong. We take it into the back of our minds, and we're very cognizant that not every time things work out the way you think it might. So we accept that it's possible. We hope that, of course, everything does go well and it's heading towards that direction. But in the event that it doesn't work out, my brother is still my brother. I love him forever, so that's not going to change anything.
Well, Adam, it's rare to hear people sing accolades of friendship and camaraderie of brothers so openly. So I think I understand well what is the genesis of Miso Smokey. If there's anything you wanted to say about the endeavor of being an entrepreneur, what would you say?
What I would say is just get out there and do something. If you have an idea, if you have a plan, or you think something could work, go out and try it. Put your best foot forward, because you may be surprised. You will learn more about yourself. You'll learn more about the markets. You'll learn more about people all around you. And you could potentially succeed. I mean, everything is a risk, but without any risk, there's no reward. So you have to get out there and try something. And you miss all the shots that you don't take. So you don't want to regret never taking a chance on something.
Adam, how old are you?
I'm 35.
How old is your brother?
He is 34.
So Trinidad and Tobago, the world, you have a 35 and a 34-year-old who back then were 33 and 32 respectively.
Yeah.
coming together and saying, let's make a business together. They've incorporated their partners, and they are happy doing what they do. So Miso is a recipe worth visiting. It's a recipe worth understanding. It's a recipe worth liking. And so, Adam, I want to say thank you for being courageous enough to come and sit down and have this conversation with me. Is there anything you want to say in parting?
I'd just like to say thanks so much for the opportunity to be here. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure meeting you at the training session, and it just goes to show that those little opportunities could open so many doors. And I really appreciate it, but the fact that you even considered me to be here.
Well, I like to talk, and you like to talk, and so we could talk together.
Yeah.
I think what you would have understood from a room so plural, there are those who are very introverted. Mm-hmm. There are those who, they need that help to come out of their shells. So it's different elements of this learning process, different elements of being an entrepreneur. We fail a lot, we succeed sometimes. Mm-hmm. When we succeed, we have to stay on top, we have to know what to do. There's the ethical boundaries. There are so many elements towards what we do. But what we do is important. And so the 868 is more than a business show, Adam. It's a platform dedicated to sustainable growth for Trinidad and Tobago. Through the lens of ESG, and I didn't touch it deliberately, but the environmental, social, and governance factors, that's where we begin to spotlight entrepreneurship, innovativeness, and SMEs. That is where we'll build stronger businesses. That's where we will create jobs and shape a more resilient future for Trinidad and Tobago. The reality is back then we would look at pests and SWOT, and you will keep having these other tools that they put before you. But the main ingredients are what we are talking about. What matters most is towards the success of a business is translated in these very conversations. So I want to thank you for coming on the show with me this morning. And my parting words that I came across a quote, I'm a quote monster. I'm reading a lot more these days than I used to. And so I think I would always close this show with this quote, and tell me if you like it. Remember, the only way to the other side is through.
I actually do like that. That's an excellent quote. Yeah. For not too long, actually, one of my WhatsApp status has been per aspera ad astra, which basically means through the thorns to the stars. So I think it speaks almost exactly to the same thing. You have to need to pass through your challenges to reach your goal. And your challenges build you and form you into who you are.
So we will come back together 1 year from now. Mm-hmm. And maybe your dream might be materialized by then.
I hope so, certainly.
Folks, this is WESN, the content capital, and you were watching the 868.